know you got me.
Hello everyone, my name is Keisha and I just want to welcome you all to the Wealthy Sis Talk Show. This is where women can come together to learn about wealth and entrepreneurship. So join us as we dive into all the tips, tricks, and strategies on how to build a luxury lifestyle. In a world where wealth often seems synonymous with exorbitant spending, the idea of living like a millionaire can often feel like an unattainable dream. However, the truth is that living like a millionaire isn't always about flaunting designer labels, driving fast cars. It's all about embracing a mindset of confidence, freedom, and expansive thinking. In this segment, we'll explore all the luxury life hacks you can start living right now without breaking the bank. So let's dive into the tips and tricks for living a lavish lifestyle on a budget. So number one, dare to dream big. One of the most significant differences between millionaires and the average person is just their willingness to dream. Not only do they set ambitious goals, but they don't mind putting in the work to actually get there. Now, dreaming big does not cost you 1 cent, but the best thing about it is you're always going to see the return on your investment and get extraordinary outcomes. So take the time, envision what your ideal future looks like, figure out your long-term goals, your aspirations, and be sure to write them down and create a plan on how you're going to get there. So number two, be strategic about your timing. So we all know that time is money, and if you shop at the right time, it's going to save you a lot of coins. So many luxury brands throughout the year, they'll have different sales, such as the holiday season as well as the end of the season sales. So you want to make sure that you're shopping around those times to get the best bang for your buck. Number three, be selective with your purchases. So I know we all love like a good Shein haul, a Fashion Nova haul, but when you're trying to live a luxury lifestyle, you want to prioritize quality over quantity. So instead of shopping the latest trends and just buying fast fashion, consider actually purchasing high quality items that's really going to last. Create a luxurious home environment. So since a lot of us, we spend a lot of our time at home, you want to make sure that the luxury starts from where you're spending the most time, which is of course your home. So you want to make sure that you're creating a home that reflects your personality. Some luxury touches such as high quality furniture, fresh flowers, soft lighting, or even tropical decor to make your home feel extra special. And you also want to think about engaging all of your senses. That could be like scented candles, wind chimes, and even velvet throws that are a pleasure to your touch and sight. So those are all the tips I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning into this segment of Luxury Lifestyle. I'm your girl Keisha.
Is that money on the line? It is time for our exciting segment, which is our finance segment. You see it. Count your blessings. This is Money Mindset. I'm Sarai, your guide through the world of finance, and today we are going to be diving into one of the most, I would say, exciting topics that I love and I hold dear to my heart, and that is, drumroll please, day trading. So I am going to talk to you guys about day trading today on our Money Mindset segment. And for those that are not accustomed to what day trading is, stay tuned, buckle up, because you're in for a ride. Grab your notebooks and grab your pens, and we are going to dive right in. So you guys may be wondering, who is this girl? Why should I be taking advice from her? What does she know about day trading, and what brings her to be the most adequate host of the Money Mindset? I'm glad you asked. So a little bit about me and my day trading experience. I've been a day trader, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 years on and off. Don't quote me on it. But I've been a day trader for about 6 years, and I've had an opportunity to not only day trade in the financial market and one of the largest financial markets, the foreign markets, but I also had a group called the Female Trader Group. It no longer exists. Rest in peace. But it's okay. We got the Money Mindset now. But a little bit about my experience in the day trading markets. I was a day trader. So there's different type of trading styles outside of day trading, right? Though we are talking about day trading today, I also wanted to inform you about the 3 different styles that you may hear or you might research and end up finding out, right? There's swing traders, there's scalpers, and then of course there's day traders. The difference between day trading and other trading styles, I'm gonna dive into that. But let's get back to why you should be taking advice from me. I did tell you guys I have been trading for 6 years. I've also gotten an opportunity to get my security industry essentials practice certification exam. I didn't pass yet, but it's okay. We're still in that process. But my experience ranges from being able to understand the technicals and fundamentals of the financial market, right? When it comes to day trading, it's bigger than just being able to say, hey, I want to invest, I have money, let me put it into the stock market. I've been able to understand what actually occurs when economics and news is occurring to be able to make day trading decisions. So stay tuned for some more information because I have a lot to tell. With my background as a day trader, I'll share with you what, once again, day trading is and if it's the best fit for you. The whole purpose of tuning in when it comes to money mindset is not only to get educated about the different financial topics that we're going to talk about, but also figuring out if this is the right fit for you, right? We are not financial advisors, so we do ask that any information that we do give out to you, that you seek your financial advisor, your wealth manager, to be able to get the most effective advice. I'm just a girl that loves money and loves to trade, so don't take me too seriously, or do you? Who knows? I'll share what day trading is all about and if it's the right fit for you. So once again, let's continue diving in. Let's get into the question you're probably wondering. Who is day trading for? The definition is in the name. Day trading are traders that trade throughout the day, right? So what does the day looks like? You know, we have our everyday work hours, which is between the hours of 9 to 5. That is how day traders get an opportunity to make their decision. They're making their decision between that 9 to 5 interval that the financial markets get to open. But let's say if you are not in the United States, so in the United States, you may have the stock market, the option market, the futures market, and the different, markets, money market funds that exist. If you're a foreign market trader, you get an opportunity to trade based on the sessions of that particular economic standpoint, right? So in the foreign markets, there's 3 different sessions that occurs in the foreign markets. You have Asian, you have London, and you have New York, right? So those days economically are occurring on a completely different time zone, right? Different time zone. So in the foreign markets, food for thought, if you are a person that wants to trade 24/5, the foreign markets provide those opportunities. So you're making decisions that's occurring day by day. So when the session overlaps, that means it's a new day, right? So day trading are for those that have a slightly bit of a risk tolerance. That means you're a little bit more riskier than others. You only have a short period of time to be able to analyze market data and be able to make a decision, right? So it's not for people that want to be swing traders, because remember we talked about the different trading styles, which is swing, scalp, and day trading. So a day trader is taking decisions based on what is occurring for that particular day. So how do you apply that? You can use technicals or you can use fundamentals. Hopefully in our next session, I'm able to break that down for you. But those people also have a thrill for the ride, right? These people that consider themselves day traders, you have to have, once again, like I said, risk tolerance, but you also have to be able to thrive under pressure. Day trading is not as easy as people make it seem because it's completely different than investing, right? When you're investing, you're talking about a person that probably wants to build a portfolio that is seeking for longevity of a financial gain. A day trader, they're in at 9 and probably out at 5. You have to be a person, one, that can make decisions, once again, under pressure, but be able to take all that analytical data and be able to execute your trades at a precise time. So that's another food for thought that you have to remember. Now let's do a small little recap. Now, who is day trading for? It is for people that can thrive under pressure. It is for people that's able to make their decisions between that daytime interval. It's also people that's able to analyze market data through a particular time frame, but at the same time be able to get in and out before market close, right? Because as a day trader, you only have the day, and a day in the market typically only lasts about 8 hours depending on the market that you're trading. Now that is a little bit on who day trading is for. Now you got to ask yourself this amazing question: is it for you? Are you a person that thrives under pressure? Are you a person that can be able to execute decisions within that daytime interval? Or are you a person that loves to work with risk? And if that's you, maybe day trading might be something you should consider. Now you figured out if day trading is for you. Let's talk about the financial principles that you should have, right? Day traders are disciplined. If you are thinking about diving into day trading, right, it's also important to keep a strong educational background, right? So when we talked about, hey, I'm not here to provide legal or financial advice, because I am not a financial advisor. I'm just a girl that loves making some money. But it's also important to find educational platforms, right? There's a couple free platforms that I'm going to mention here, food for thought, because we're doing a lot of those here, giving you tips on where to go to find the best information that you can. Investing.com is a good platform. Market Watch is a good platform. Investopedia is a good platform. The reason why I'm mentioning these platforms, because they are free. Everybody say free, F-R-E-E. And that's what we do here at Money Mindset. We give you free tips, free resources. So you got to tune in. But they are free platforms that allows you to get an understanding of how to gauge the financial markets, right? Oftentimes when people are talking about, hey, I want to be a day trader, but don't understand the core values, you can get lost in the sauce. Right? So it's important to do your research. And once you figured out your research, identify which market that you want to tap into. Because based on what we talked about, if you're able to thrive under pressure, you can be able to identify, hey, maybe I need to go more so on the investing side of things. Maybe I need to be a day trader because I'm trying to make, profitable gains in a short time interval because I have the personality trait to do that. But once you've identified the educational platform, you also got to do, I always say this, a personal assessment. Who am I, right? Identifying core values that you possess as an individual. So if you're a person that naturally don't have a little bit slight insecurity, you might want to work on that, because you want to be able to trust in your decision making, because at the end of the day, you're dealing with your money and you don't want to be in a place where you don't have a strong risk management plan. On top of that, staying disciplined. Once you've made a decision that you want to pursue day trading or any form of investing, it's important that you could at least create a regime, right? What is a regime? A schedule that you put together that you're saying, hey, at this particular time, I'm studying. At this particular time, I'm watching videos to educate myself a little bit further. And of course, in order to stay disciplined, getting an accountability person. It is essential that you find a coach, a mentor, or an advisor. If you are at a local bank, there's no harm in going and say, you know what? Hey, I'm trying to pursue this route on whether becoming a day trader or just trying to grow my portfolio. What advice can you provide to me, or what direction that you can lead me to be able to make the most effective decision? So those are things that I want you guys to keep in mind, that being a part of this financial space, because Money Mindset is going to give you all type of money education, but in finance, it's also important to, like I said, always stay up to date, right? Whether that is studying economics, watching news, understanding fundamentals, watching press releases, anything that affects us economically affects your money. And we're always talking about count your blessings. And if you want to count your blessings in this season, that's all going to fall back with education. So I wanted to add that for you guys. And then lastly is to get a well-defined strategy. That is super important. And you may be wondering, Sarai, what's a strategy? How is that going to set me apart? A strategy is what you use on a consistent basis to make effective trading decisions, right? That is a plan. When we talked about regime, right? Another term for it can be strategy. That is a plan that you put in place to say, you know what? Hey, my risk tolerance is 10% every day, right? So that is a part of your strategy, that you're not going to lose more than 10%. And the reason why I'm saying that, can we be truthful? Lean on in. I've been a part of the process where when I first started day trading, I did not have a plan. I didn't have a mentor. I was going through trial and error. And what did that cost me? I know. We talked about ring, ring, ring. Money was ringing. Money was no longer ringing. I was not getting no money calls because I was not following a plan, right? I started losing money, and then I was like, hey, this money could be allocated somewhere else. So I decided to hone in, invest in my education again, and started to build out a well-defined strategy so I can start being profitable. Food for thought. Come on in again. You are not a day trader if you are not profitable. We're always talking about that in our industry. In order to be considered a person that at least can dive into these markets, it all comes down to profits. Profits equates money, money equates opportunity, right? So that is what you have to do. You have to figure it out, a well-defined strategy. And I'm going to leave you guys with this. Patience is a virtue. In this financial industry, in these financial markets, without any patience, my colleagues always say this all the time, the market rewards patience. The market rewards patience. Say that, say it with me. The market rewards patience. That is what it's about. It's about being disciplined. It's about being educated. It's about having a well-defined strategy, and it all comes down to patience, because even if you have all three and you lack patience, you will find yourself in a whirlwind. And like I said, you don't want to learn through experience, because I'm trying to educate you guys that it will teach you a lot about yourself in this process. It's all about patience. I wanted to leave you guys with that, but don't worry. I know. It's, you guys are sad that I'm leaving. It's okay. In our money mindset segment, I'm going to be your guide. I'm going to help you navigate in this world that we call the financial industry, where we share success stories. I'm going to bring in experts. We're going to probably have some lives going on. It's going to be a whirlwind of education and resources for you guys to be able to provide you practical tips to grow your trading skills, and not only to be a good trader, but to be informed about making proper and effective financial decisions. But it's been a pleasure rocking with you guys on Money Mindset segment here on the Wealthy Sis Network. And don't forget, money is always swinging. I'll make sure to pick up the call. See you guys next time.
I know you got me.
Welcome to the Wealthy Sis Talk Show. My name is Reese Smith, and I am your influencer insider. We're diving deep into the world of boss babes and entrepreneurs who are making waves and setting trends. Whether you're dreaming of becoming a top influencer or building your own brand from scratch, this segment is packed with exclusive insights and strategies to help you shine. Let's welcome our special guest, Desiree Cinada. Hi. Woo! Thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. So let's get right into it.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yay! So can you share the story of your entrepreneurial journey?
Yes, well, actually, it's an interesting journey.
Mm-hmm.
My entrepreneurship journey actually started when I was just about 14 years old. Started in the field of beauty, cosmetology.
What?
Yes. I was that kid in the neighborhood that did everyone's hair.
Yeah.
Especially for back to school.
Yeah.
And I would do family members and friends, and then back then, I would say that was early 2000s. The word would just spread. We didn't have all this technology, social media, where you had to promote. It was like word of mouth. And I still believe today word of mouth is a great way to really expand your brand.
Yeah, that goes far.
Yeah, it does. So it actually began when I was just 14 years old in the hair industry. I had the privilege as a high schooler to do something that they called back in the early 2000s. Don't judge me on my age.
Yeah.
Dual enrollment. So for my senior year, I actually attended cosmetology school. Unfortunately, I did not finish. I didn't pursue after I graduated high school because I had to continue. So I went into the route of just working a 9 to 5. I wanted that quick paycheck. Yes.
Yeah.
And the consistency of just having income, but I would still do hair on the side. And after a few years, I continued to do it. And then about 2018, I launched my first boutique. It was a co-owned boutique.
Yeah.
I love the beauty and fashion industry. And it just kind of took off from there. That's when I began to really discover my purpose, my talents. But initially it started with cosmetology and just doing hair.
Cosmetology.
And now I'm a serious entrepreneur, so I do quite a few different things. From beauty, fashion, speaking, consulting.
Wow.
And ministry.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That is really amazing. Wow.
Yes.
What's one thing that people might be surprised to know about you or your journey?
Well, I think now for the social world, the hair part.
The hair part?
The hair part.
So they wouldn't even think that you do hair?
They wouldn't even think that. They would not think it because it is a a talent and a business that I put down for a while.
Yeah.
And I have actually been thinking about getting back into it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think because I started at such a young age, I was only 14 years old.
Yeah.
And by the time I was in my 20s, and I got married young, 23, so I was going through my honeymoon stages.
Right. You wasn't studying no
Right.
hair.
I wasn't trying to. I was
no.
But now I'm like, oh my gosh, I regret that I ever stopped because
Wow.
I was really good.
Yeah.
But now, we're into the lace fronts, the wigs, and
Mhm.
all this extra stuff. And I'm like, man, like, how do I get back into it?
So when you started, what were you doing? Were you doing braids or?
I was doing a little bit of everything.
Everything?
So I did braids.
Mhm.
I would do blowouts.
Yeah.
I would do sew-ins, but sew-ins were my favorite because it only take me about an hour or two the most, and I'll make the most money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But people during summer, they want the long braids,
to
and
the
I'm
floor.
like, oh gosh, this is gonna take me all day.
Wow.
But that would surprise people because, as I mentioned, right now social media is a big thing. So I don't post or promote that I do hair because I don't do it anymore. But it's something I could definitely get back into. But
So
I'm
do you
a little
have
rusty.
a love for it?
I have a love for the beauty industry.
Beauty. Period.
Right.
Yeah, I understand that.
From skincare to makeup to
Right.
just natural.
Yeah.
Then the extra with the hair, the
Right.
lashes, the wigs. I just have a passion for it all, but I don't like sitting behind the chair doing hair all day.
Yeah. So you could just set it up to where like your availability.
Yeah, it's a thought.
It's a thought.
Yeah, and
I love the beauty industry.
Yeah.
So I'm rooting for you.
You're in the beauty
Yeah,
industry,
so you start back and I'll be a client.
all right. Now you don't have to be my practice client.
I
I'm
sure
a little
will.
rusty now.
So how do you balance the roles of being a wife, a mother, and a multi-entrepreneur?
Oh, I couldn't do it without Jesus.
Wow.
I couldn't do it without Jesus. No, seriously, I can't. I know that could sound so cliche, but I really can't because sometimes I'm like, oh my God, how do I do this?
Right.
Like, really, how do I do it?
It's like Superwoman.
It is, but I can't even, Superwoman can't even compare.
Wow.
And I say that because to be honest with you, I don't really believe in balance.
Mm-hmm.
I more so believe in prioritizing. Right? Because there's so many things that are thrown at us as mothers, as wives, as friends. I try my best to set the expectation with friends and family.
Right.
Putting scheduling systems in place
Yeah.
and I'm really at a point where I don't care to please everyone anymore.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
That's exhausting.
It is.
It's exhausting, and you're really just one person.
Yes.
But everybody tends to forget.
Yes.
I go through that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So some little nuggets that I've done over the years that seems to work for me is prioritizing in the sense of what's most important.
Right.
I know that my family, first God, right?
Of course.
So I started, it's still a challenge, but I realized that I have to wake up a lot earlier than my typical family members and friends.
Right.
About 3 a.m. I'm up in the morning praying.
Wow.
Because my kids are up at 6:30.
Yeah.
And I don't like that feeling of being bombarded.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a person of peace.
Right.
I need that space. I need that time to just decompress
Right.
when I wake up and when I go to bed.
Yeah.
So waking up at 3 to just be in the presence of God, writing out my day, planning out my day.
That sounds so peaceful.
It feels, oh my God. I feel like I conquered the world.
Yes. 3 o'clock?
Yes.
Yeah.
Some days it's tough. It's challenging depending on if my kids are sick or whatever. But for the most part, I try to implement that schedule and make sure it helps me check off what I need to check off.
Wow.
And it teaches me discipline and obedience.
Yeah.
It's still a battle. It's still a
Right.
battle, right? Because some things you just don't know what's going to happen.
Of course.
But for the most part, schedule time, prioritizing, making sure the family and kids are good. And I don't start receiving calls till about 9 a.m.
Wow.
I'm going to take my phone off, do not disturb. Unless it's really urgent or something I know that I have to get done tomorrow, then I will make those adjustments. But just prioritizing, because the reality is, excuse me, life is going to life. Things are
All
going
the
to,
time.
we're going to want to go to every event and be there to support everyone. But unfortunately, you will not be able to.
You
And,
won't.
and when you try to do that, you try to stretch yourself thin, that's when you really hit burnout. So it's just taking control of my inner peace.
Yes.
Taking control over organization of my
Right.
schedule and my time and just prioritizing what's most important and what's not. And if someone understands, they understand. And if they don't, it's okay.
This is a mood. That is a mood, and I aspire to be like that when I get a husband and kids. I'm gonna be like that.
Yeah.
That's a great way to be. So I see, what inspired you to start Pray, Slay, Inspire, and what impact do you hope it will have on women seeking financial freedom?
Yes, so Pray, Slay, Inspire. So this is a fun nugget because I'm in a place of transition, right?
Yeah.
So Pray, Slay, Inspire started back in, I want to say 2020, during COVID. I was actually just coming from a trip in Atlanta, and I had a friend at that time. I was really starting to deepen my walk with God. And I'm like, man, this thing has been really sitting on me to do a women's event. But we're like in the middle of COVID. Like, how's that going to happen? So I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of one of those who broke the rules.
Right.
And I did have a small event.
Yeah.
And it was a small private event. And the amount of breakthrough that took place in the room for the woman and myself, because I kind of like doubted myself in a sense of like, why do I need to speak to women? Like, what do I need to say? Like, no, that's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
But man, tears, the amount of tears, the amount of transparency.
Yeah.
And that actually pivoted me into my next.
Wow.
So for those of you who are serial entrepreneurs, people may look at you as like, oh my God, you do this, you do this, you do that. Mm-hmm. But that is all in a great purpose of transpiring, your next, like pivoting you into your next. Mm-hmm. So I started Pray, Slay, Inspire, and God threw me a brownie point, and now I'm in ministry. Yeah. But it had to start somewhere.
Somewhere, right? Yeah.
And that's when I began to discover, like, oh my God, I really do have a gift to not only nurture women, but just people in general.
Wow.
So that's what started Pray, Slay, Inspire, just through prayer. God placed it on my heart, my spirit. It would not leave me alone.
Right.
I literally started with just like 12 women, and when it just took off. And then,
it's just crazy that you say the number 12.
Oh,
Because Jesus had 12.
Get it together.
Jesus had 12 disciples walking, and she started with 12. And it's so crazy because the year of 2020, that year that was so hard for a lot of people, it actually birthed a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Like, I didn't even know, for even myself, I didn't even know that I could sell.
Yes.
And I made the most money in 2020 in 1 month in April than like sometime in a year or a couple 6 months. And I was just like, wait a minute. I can sell, so I can talk real good. They're gonna believe me.
That was me. We had the same thing.
The same thing. So I was like, okay, it's on now. So, but it's crazy that God was doing that for you in that time, where other families were literally weeping.
Yeah.
They were losing, and everybody was terrified, and everybody was scared. And it's like, I wasn't scared or terrified. I'm just doing my own thing. You too,
Yeah.
Shout out to you, God.
Yes.
Thank you.
that was a pretty rough season.
Very hard time.
Yeah, I did lose someone very close.
Sorry for your loss.
But it's also, hardship brings breakthrough at the same time.
At the same time.
It's weird.
Every
it's
time.
Mm-hmm.
Every time. Okay, so the next question I have for you today. Who were your role models or mentors when you were starting out?
When I was starting out, that's kind of weird. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be honest. I didn't really have, I know this is going to sound crazy. I didn't really have a role model.
Yeah.
Or someone that really poured into me, because I feel like I was kind of like that. I don't want to say I was a black sheep. I was not a black sheep. Mm-hmm. I was just a really big dreamer.
Same.
And wow. And I grew up very poor, so the people around me, they had a very scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
And that's even part of the reason why I put down cosmetology, because at that time, back in the early 20s, entrepreneurship wasn't as big as it is today.
At all. That was insane to people.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, you do hair on the side, and that was kind of it. Yeah. It wasn't like, oh, do this full time.
Correct.
So, so I didn't really have a role model or someone I looked up to. Mm-hmm. I did have friends who sowed good seeds into me, though.
Yeah, that's amazing. Friends that sow good seeds are so important.
Those friends that's like, girl, I love my hair.
Yeah.
Or those friends that were like, come to church with me.
Yeah.
And their family would embrace me.
Right.
And I would witness marriage through those families.
Wow.
And I would witness what it is to live in a nice home.
Right.
Or to drive a nice car.
Right.
So I would say it was more so kind of like the kids around me that were influential that inspired me.
Yeah.
But I didn't really per se have like an idol or someone that I looked up to.
Correct.
But I did have, God did position me to where I had good people who planted good seeds.
Right.
So yeah.
That is so amazing. Like, it's so important. And even if we don't have it in our families, it's so good how he will still put people in place. Like, hey, don't stay small. Look over here. Look over here. Like, you can have that. Yeah. That is so good. Go. Okay, so how important is it to network and build relationships in your industry?
Yes, networking and building relationships is key.
Yeah.
Shout out to Wealthy Sis. It's a network of its own.
Yes.
It is key because you have to get your name out there. You have to put your brand out there. You have to talk about who you are and what you do. And I promise you, as you begin to just network, how do you network? Start going to events. It doesn't matter if you don't know anyone.
Correct.
Look it up in your neighborhood, your community. Sometimes just by volunteering, you can get connected. So there's so many different ways. It's vital to your business. Because remember I said earlier that word of mouth is a big
everything.
Thing, in business, right? So even if you met someone, you may not be able to get a service right then and there, but they can remember saying, hey, you know what? I know Ree, she actually do makeup.
Right.
Let me go and look her up.
Right.
And then she can refer you to a friend. So networking, it just helps build your brand and bring awareness.
It does. Like, literally, I totally agree on that. I'll be at the nail shop, right? I talk to everybody I come across. I don't care if it's the nail shop, but nail shop is my big thing. When I go to the nail shop, whoever's sitting next to me, hey, sweetheart, do you wear makeup?
I know.
You know, here's my business card. I'm telling y'all, that literally works. Just open your mouth. Even if you're shy, like, how would somebody ever know that you do whatever if you don't say anything? Social media can only go so far. If one day we wake up, God forbid, and our pages are snatched down, what are you going to do? What if we don't have social media? You have to take this back to the ground of roots. You got to do something different and think outside of the box. So I totally agree with that. That is a big part.
That's so good. I'm glad you said that too, because
there's
been times that social media has been down.
And it literally showed me, I think it was like last year when social media, when we got on and it was like something going on, like nobody couldn't log on. And it was like, I was like, okay, don't worry about it. Now I know what to do. I'm going back doing the footwork.
Or what about, great example, I was mentioning to you earlier that one of my accounts got hacked, right?
Right.
Now we have the verified blue check that protects you, but there was a time I built my audience to over 10,000 followers organically.
Oh my God.
And it sucked because I was so excited about having the followers.
Right.
But where's the database?
Right.
When that account got hacked, I had to start all over. Now I only have 1,500.
And that literally, people don't talk about how losing your page after you didn't grew something so authentically, how that can tear you down. Like, especially when you're just this content person or whatever, like, this is hard work that you put in, and for it to not be replaced and you have to start over, it's very uninspiring, honestly.
But you know what's good? That's okay. I feel like even my last nugget is to my entrepreneurs. Sometimes it's good to start over because it builds up resilience in you.
It does.
And it's like, can you do it again? Can you make those 6 figures again? Can you build that business again? Because some people are just for a season, but the goal is longevity.
Right.
So,
I agree. That's good. Give me some. Proud of you. Keep going. What legacy do you hope to leave behind as an entrepreneur and an influencer?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. Legacy is just passing something on beyond my children.
Yes.
Right? Oftentimes in today's time, we focus on, okay, I need to leave wealth for my children. But no, a legacy is when I can leave books.
Right.
I can leave land. I can leave businesses. I can leave words of encouragement. How do I keep that alive when I'm dead?
Right.
By getting streets named after me.
Right.
By getting businesses named after me. Also, like I said, books. When 20 years, 30 years, 40 years after my death, people are still reading my books.
Right.
You know? And that's through legacy. And just a quick nugget too. That's funny that you said that.
Yeah.
I had a whole revelation where God revealed to me recently to transition my businesses to name them after me. And I was like, no, that's kind of like a little conceited. Why would I name it after me? And he said, no, because this is how you build legacy. This is why Martin Luther King Jr. name is still alive. after so many years because they would name things after him. And I began now, you know, in my place of transition, I began to change the names of my businesses.
Yeah. That is so crazy because I always go by Ree. That, like everybody knows, Ree. And he's been telling me, start back using your real name.
Yes.
And I have used Ree for so long. I'm like, oh my God, no, I love my real name.
Yes.
But it's like, I just keep stuff so private and protected to me. So I'm like, now the whole world got to know my name.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, I hear you guys.
Yes,
right?
And just think about Madam C.J. Walker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And think about a lot of the greats. A lot of things are named after them.
After them. Wow. Well, Desiree, this was so fun. I thank you so much for coming today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this interview because she was so amazing. My heart is so warm after just talking to you. This was such a great conversation. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys on the next Influencer Insider.
Yes.
See?
Everybody calls me Ree, and I'll be like, who is that?
It sounded like you said
No.
hey, I'm sorry.
Rise up, sister, and let your voices ring. Together we stand. We are